Welcome to Kevin's Toyota channel. At least today anyway. I got Mom's Toyota RAV4. It's a 2017 with a little 4-banger in it. I'm going to perform her 30,000 mile maintenance and servicing today. We're going to rotate the tires, change the oil, cabin air filter, all of that good stuff, and I'm going to bring you along with me, so don't go away. Okay, we're up on jack stands. The first order of business on these Toyotas is to break loose this little center cap here. Okay, so we're under the car. It's jacked up on jack stands. And the first order of business is to drain the oil and what do we got here? A 14? Yeah, we got a 14. And the RAV4 does not use a metal. It doesn't use the traditional metal oil filter. It has one of those metal housings that stays on the engine, and you replace the cartridge on the inside. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. This oil doesn't look too bad. It takes a 0W20 full synthetic oil. And when you go to Toyota and you buy the cartridge to do the oil filter, it comes with a new crush washer for the drain plug, O-rings for this oil filter housing, and a special little plastic tool that I'll show you. So the first thing we did was we warmed the engine up to operating temperature, and then, as you can see right here, included in the filter is this little plastic tool to help drain the oil out of the filter, the O-rings, the cartridge, and they even give you a new crush washer for the drain plug. So I thought that was pretty neat of them. So I'm going to install the new drain plug crush washer. I'm just going to let that run for 1 second and show you guys this. This cartridge. So you have this metal piece that you remove off of the bottom of the oil filter housing first. And that comes with its own O-ring. And then you're going to take this plastic tool and insert it somehow, like that. You just push it straight in, and it will help you drain the oil filter. And then you go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's didn't have it. I drove across town thinking that O'Reilly's would have this, and they did not. And I knew AutoZone had it, but I prefer O'Reilly's in our town. So you buy this tool from AutoZone, to remove the housing. All right, guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to pull our plastic insert out, and it just pops back out here. And I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my drain plug. And now we're going to remove the oil filter housing. And that was on there pretty tight. And here is the housing. And this is how the special tool fits. Like so. I'm trying hard not to get oil on my new camera. Got a new 4K camera, guys. You guys will notice the quality of my videos getting much better. New editing software. Trying to make better videos every time. Now you want to make sure that the O-ring comes off with this. And I see it right here. It has the O-ring on it. Now let me grab a pick. And we are going to remove the O-ring. And one very important point with this is the O-ring goes here in this groove. Make sure that you don't force it to go all the way down. It needs to go right here in this groove. I don't know how good you guys can see that. The groove is right here. And so it's pretty obvious. Now let's see if I can open this with my oily hands. And I'm going to reinstall the O-ring. And I have enough oil on my fingers to slightly oil the O-ring, so I'm not worried about that. And you can see it's seated right in its housing. And we'll put the new cartridge in. And we're going to go back in with it. And this special tool that I got from AutoZone has a 1/2 inch attachment on it. I thought that was kind of strange. My gosh. Instead of a 3/8. So I'm using my big ratchet. You're probably thinking, what in the world? And I didn't find a torque setting for this at all either. That feels snug. I think I'm going to leave it there. And then we're going to put the other new O-ring in. This O-ring is going to initially seem too big for this groove when you first start working with it, but just be patient and you'll be able to get it in the right spot. And you want to make sure it stays seated, because it's not really the most obvious how it goes up there. It almost just sits in a little groove. And you want to make sure you get it right. I'm going to use my little extension so that I can reach up there without having to torque it. All right. And I believe the oil filter is in. And I will tighten my drain plug. To factory specs, as Erica would say. My thing with this, just use your head. This stuff doesn't have to be ridiculously tight. Just get it snug, tighten it a little more, you're good. You're going to check for leaks anyway. And while I'm under here, just doing a inspection of the transmission, make sure that that's not leaking. Looking for anything obvious. It's a Toyota, it only has 30,000. I doubt I'm finding anything, but you never know. Now, one thing I did forget to get at AutoZone was a new engine air filter. So I'm gonna have to get a new engine air filter whenever I get done with everything else. But I still have to inspect the ball joints, rotate the tires, cabin air filter, several other things. I keep checking this over and over because it's a little bit hard to tell. I'm gonna let that oil settle out. It looks like it's full, but I'm gonna let it settle out for a little while and recheck it in just a little bit. I'm gonna recheck it whenever I'm done. It looks like it's good. Now, when you guys are rotating tires, whatever your drive, if it's a front wheel drive, you're going to take the true fronts and you're going to cross them and put them in the back. And you're going to take the backs and go straight up to the fronts. If it's a rear wheel drive, you do the opposite. You take the two backs and you cross them into the front. And then you take the fronts and you go straight back. So if it's a front wheel drive, you're going to cross the fronts, and if it's a rear wheel drive, you're going to cross the rears. And that way, every time you rotate your tires, you're getting a turn, one turn every rotation. And what that does is the leading edge of the tire, where the tread is, it's going to make more even wear there than if you just always go front to back. You're not really changing anything if you're just going front to back. You still have that leading edge is what's digging into the pavement. And so you're still going to get uneven tire wear. So what we're going to do right here is I'm going to take the left front and move it to the right rear. I'm going to take the right front and move it to the left rear. And the left rear is coming to the left front and the right rear is coming to the right front. That's the proper way to rotate your tires. And also, don't be the guy that just cranks your lug nuts down with the impact. Torque them properly. Take care of your stuff. You're going to end up warping your rotors. If you ever get in a flat on the side of the road, you're going to have a really hard time getting them off. Doesn't take that long. Now I'm just using this to snug them up. I am not torquing them with this. Also, one more thing. If you guys are going to use your impact to snug down your lug nuts, the proper way to do that is to put your lug nut in there and start it with your hand. You don't want to just run your impact on it, because if you have it cross-threaded, this has enough power to really run your stud or your lug nut or get it stuck on there. So put your lug nut on there and start it. And then once you know it's started, just barely turn this like so, just to help you run it down. And it's saves a lot of time, but at the same time, you don't risk messing something up. All right, guys, I got them all snugged up. Now I'm gonna let the car down and we're gonna torque our wheels. And it's so hard to get that jack to go slow. You know, you start letting your car down and all of a sudden it just drops. All right, guys, I had to go look up the torque specs. Torque wrench, 80 foot-pounds. You want to make sure that you're on the foot-pound side of your torque wrench and not the Newton meters. The other side is Newton meters. And if you look up foot-pounds, you want to make sure that it's not in Newton meters when you look it up. All right, so we're at 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern. All right, now I'm gonna go drive this in a little bit, and then I'm gonna recheck that torque just to make sure they're 100%. You wanna do the same. The next thing we have is the cabin air filter. All you do is pop this little piece right here loose, and your glove box comes right out. It is super simple. And then if I could show you right here, the next thing we do is we're just gonna pop this out. Now, you want to pay attention to the direction of airflow, and you want to make sure that you get yours the same. And this arrow is pointing up, and obviously the blower is here, so the air is going to be going that way, and this one says airflow. So we're just going to pull this one out. And slide that one in. And replace our lid. install that piece. And the glove box is back. Very simple. All right, that's how you do a 30,000 mile maintenance on a Toyota RAV4. So what we've done so far is we have, I'm looking at the maintenance schedule here. We rotated the tires, replaced engine oil and filter, replace cabin air filter, replace engine air filter. I'm gonna get one and bring it back. I'm not gonna bore you with that, that's simple. I'm gonna change that out and retorque the lug nuts and recheck the oil, make sure everything's good there. Inspect the wiper blades, they're fine. Check installation of driver's floor mat. Yeah, Toyota got in a little hot water over that one, so we'll check that. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in to, today is Kevin's Toyota channel. Normally it's Kevin's Trooper channel. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you like. See you next time.